Hello, welcome to another SimNet video. This week we will be modifying a document for a company called Courtyard Medical Plaza and customizing the emergency procedures for a college district. Here's a tip before I start. If you're doing multiple attempts, it may be helpful to rename your files so you don't end up uploading the file from your first attempt as your second or third submission. So I'll go ahead and start the guided project and show you how to do the first half of this project, and then I'll switch over to the independent project and show you how to do the first half of that. So um, once again, it's always good to have the guided project open up in SimNet with the checklist. And for this guided project, similar to the last one, you will have two files you need to download. So either just click on the two links or use the file download wizard. And I noticed for my other video when I was using my ultra wide, um, it looked narrow on other screens. So for this video, I'm going to be using a more standard resolution, the 1080, and this is something that should look better on most of your screens. So I can try to do side by side still. So it could still work, but you notice for my Word document, um, especially the menu bar up here, it's really condensed. So it's just better to kind of expand it out so you can see more of the menu bar on the Word app, and then just Alt Tab between that and the checklist. All right, so I went ahead and did the first step. And like I mentioned at the beginning, you only really need to rename the file if you end up doing multiple attempts. But so I'm just going to stick with the file I have. So it really starts at step 3. Change the color set of the document. So click on the colors button in the design document formatting group. So let me go back to my guided project. So um, I can zoom in to kind of show you what I'm doing here. And then colors, I believe it's red. So I'm going to click on that. So I'm going to zoom out again. So yeah, so it's select red for the drop-down list of colors. Step 4, modify the existing style. Right-click title in the style gallery, which is in the home tab style group. Once again, in my prior video, I explained about using keyboard shortcuts to easily switch between your checklists and your project. So that keyboard shortcut on a Windows is the Alt key, which is next to the space bar, plus the Tab key, which is usually above the caps lock. And you have to hold those two together. Okay. So I need to go back to the home bar. And then in this style, I need to modify it. So let me go back to the checklist to remind myself, oh, it's the title. Right click on the title and select modify. So if you don't see title, you might need to click this drop down to expand the different styles. So let me zoom in on that so you can see that. Click on that and then look for title, then right click, and then select modify. So I'm going to zoom out again. So let's go back to the checklist. So click the center alignment button on the formatting area. So it's kind of small, so I'll zoom in again. It's this middle button here. And I wish they have some sort of pop-up that says the center, but usually that's the universal symbol for center when you see middle lines, a line in the middle like that. I'm gonna zoom out again. Apply bold and change the font size to 20 point in the formatting area. So going back to here, so the font size is going to be 20 and then select bold. Okay, so that's done. Click OK to close the modify style box. All right, that's done. Right click the heading 1 style and modify it. So once again, right click, select modify. So that's done. Click the format button and select font to open the font dialog box. So the format button is located down here. And then they want me to modify the font format. So click on that. Apply small caps and click OK to close the font dialog box. So small caps is here. So that's a simple edit there. For H, ask me to click the format button again and select paragraph to open the paragraph dialog box. So format, paragraph. What am I doing here? Apply the following changes. In my other class, I made a mistake of not typing in PT. So make sure if you're typing in your values, you make sure you have PT type at the end, or it's going to mess up with the spacing. So before, paragraph spacing is 12 PT, so let's switch back to that. So I can use the arrow to go to 12. And then if I can remember, after needs to be at 3. So since using the arrow doesn't take me to 3, I'm going to need to type in 3. So make sure that's correct. Yeah. And then line spacing needs to be single. So let me go ahead and zoom in just so we can see that the values here. Okay. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to zoom out. And then click OK twice to close the pop-up. All right, so that's done. Okay, so we are at step 5. Part A is asking us to click the Styles launcher to open the Styles pane if it's not already open. So to do that, let's go back to our guided project. The Styles launcher is this little square with a diagonal arrow. If you click on that, it should bring up a Styles pop-up, which is over here. All right, so that's A. Part B is asking us to right-click the heading 2 style and select all to select all the text of the heading 2 style applied. So right-clicked, select all. Sometimes it might say none, but don't worry about it. It will select the heading 2s, but for my case, it does say there are 2 instances. And you can tell those 2 are selected because of the grayed outline around the 2 heading 2s. So that's B. Part C is asking us to click the heading 1 style to replace the heading 2 style. So just go up here and click heading 1. And there it is. Okay, so this concludes my intro into doing our guided project for this week. So hopefully this gives you a good enough idea of what you need to do. And once again, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, this is what the finalized document will look like. So use this as a reference as to guide you to make sure you're on the right track. All right, so let's get started on our independent project. Once again, if you haven't done so, download the start file. And I've already done it, so let me go ahead and open that up. So here's my independent project. Change the theme to integral and the theme color to red. So that is located in the design tab. Click on the themes icon on the left and integrals right down here. And then instead of this cool color, we're gonna click the down arrow and select the red option, which looks like fall. So that's done. Change the top, bottom, left, and right margins to 0.75. So that's located in layout, margins. It remembered my last custom setting, but you want to go ahead and go to custom margins and type in 0.75. And instead of typing 0.75 three times, you could just copy it. So on the Windows keyboard, it's Control C, and then go to the next field and then type and hold Control and V, the letter V, and that pastes the value. You don't need to put the quote marks because Office will go ahead and apply that for you. And you can double check by going back to custom margins and see that the quote marks are added at the end. So that's done. Select the entire document and change the font size to 12 point. So once again, if you don't remember, to select the entire document using a keyboard shortcut is Control A, or you can just click and drag from the beginning and select all the way to the bottom. But this is easier. And then we want to go and change it so it's the font size is at 12, like that. All right, so that's done. Now we want to select the title of the document and apply the heading 1 style. So this is the title, heading 1. Change the font size to 18 point. So, oops, right now, oops, let me go back to the independent project. Is that 14? I want to select 18, so it made it bigger. Change the before paragraph spacing to 0 point. Now, one other thing that is different between independent project and a guided project is just that in a guided project, you have screenshots and more directions. In an independent project, they tend to give you less direction. So what this means is hopefully you remembered what you've done in IS-15 because the skills you learned there transfer to this class. So since I teach IS-15, I remember where to find the before paragraph spacing option in Word. So it's in this paragraph section here. And if I zoom in, you can see once again, there's this dialog pop up at the bottom right hand corner. Click that. And that is where the before option is, where you can find the before options. Once again, what do we want? We want 0 point. So to get 0 point, you can either just click the down arrow, take the 0 point, or you can type it in. And it's good to, in this case, type in PT at the end. So I got that done. Add a bottom border to the title using the borders drop-down list. So you can kind of see already that the bottom border is already selected, or you can just be sure and then click the drop-down and make sure bottom border is selected. So you can see that is done properly with this line at the beneath the title. Let's see, 5A is asking us to apply the heading 2 style to each of the bold section headings. So the bolded section headings, there's quite a bit. So it might help to kind of change the view to multiple pages so you can see it easier. So I'm going to select the first one. To select all the other headings, in addition with your first selection is to hold Control on a Windows keyboard and then select the bold section. So I'm doing that here. There we go. All right, so that's done. Oh, well, I need to apply heading 2. So let's go back to home and then heading 2. All right, that looks good. Select the first section heading and then, okay. So I'm going to go back to the single page view and then zoom in some more so you can see better. So I'm going to select the first section heading. Change the before paragraph spacing and after paragraph spacing. Once again, this is something you would have learned in IS-15. So to find the paragraph spacing, once again, is this paragraph setting dialog box. Before and after is 12 and 3. So go up 12. It only goes to 6, so I need to type in 3. So that's done. Apply the small caps effect. Okay. So the small caps effect is in the font section and it's in the font dialog pop-up. So small caps. So that's done. Update heading 2 style to match selection. All the section headings are updated. So the easy way to do that is right click in the style section, right click on heading 2 and then select update heading 2 to match selection. And there you go. All your heading 2 has been updated. Turn on the show hide and delete all the blank lines in the document. So that just shows the paragraph marks. So just delete all the paragraph symbols that does not have any words in front of it. Okay, so that's done. Select the bulleted list in the first section and change it to a number list. So here's the bulleted list, and then we want to change it so it's numbered. There you go. So that was the easy one. All right, so I'll stop here. Hopefully this gives you a good enough idea of how to do the rest of the project. Once again, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see the finished product. Uh, this screenshot is a little small, so what I would do, depending on your browser, is if you right-click on it, there should be a option to open an image in a new tab. And when you do that, you can use the zoom feature in your browser to kind of like zoom in and kind of get the idea of what you're working towards. So you can kind of see that in other sections, you're going to have to create more numbered lists and some bulleted lists with different symbols. Looks like arrows, but it's a little blurry. But yeah, so this is it. So thank you for watching and good luck.